things that in the heat of the moment, men might say to a woman that they immediately
Uh-oh.
regret. Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. Once again, I want to welcome back Robert Manni, the host of Guys Guy Radio and TV right here on YouTube, and the author of the Guys Guide to Love. Robert, thanks for being here again.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Silka.
Well, today I think we're going to have a fun conversation. I consider it almost a type of a public service, segment. And that's things that in the heat of the moment, men might say to a woman that they immediately
Uh-oh.
regret. And I
I've
know
got plenty.
there's a lot of humor here, but it's also, we can explain why and why you would really want to think twice before saying that.
Well, the issue is I think we can agree that sometimes women and men have different communication styles,
Mm-hmm.
whereas often, not always, men are pretty direct and short. And sometimes women see a lot of and hear a lot of subtext, and and sometimes you're not sure what to say and what they're actually saying. As guys, we get ourselves in trouble with this.
So here's like the most common that I'm sure you've either heard yourself say or you heard a guy say. So let's raise some awareness about that. First one here: you're overreacting, or you're just overreacting.
That's danger. That's danger, Will
Yeah.
Rogers. If you say that to a woman, in my opinion, you're asking for trouble because they're reacting. I mean, who are
Yeah.
you to say that they're overreacting? They're
Well,
reacting in the way they're reacting.
and it's just dismisses whatever might be behind the reaction, so it will only make things worse. So you're overreacting. Those, yeah, get that
Yeah,
out of your
that's not a
vocabulary.
good one to say. Yeah, I would
No.
like not say that. Even if somebody, your partner is overreacting, just don't say it.
Mhm.
What
Right.
can you think about? What can you do to dial down the temperature?
Right. A woman doesn't overreact for no reason, maybe not a good reason. Saying it does not help,
Mhm.
not at all.
Don't and now don't when the temperature goes high and the voices get louder, try your best without being patronizing to keep it at a lower level.
Well, and you just alluded to another one, that is calm down.
Ah, ah,
While
right.
you want, that's exactly what that, I mean, that's what you should be trying to do, that, to your point. But saying, you need to calm down is another one.
Yeah,
That's
that's
another
that's going to
phrase
get
that.
you because that's going to dial it up also. You want to
Mhm.
calm the situation down, but you don't want to tell the other person to calm down because that's not going to work. Because then
Yeah,
they'll think, oh, he's accusing me of being, out of control, overreacting again.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you careful with your words.
And also think about as I was reading this article, it's like, if you think about it, that if this was being said to you, how would you feel? I mean, this is typically stuff men say to women. But what if a woman, just think about that for a minute. If somebody told you to, oh, you're overreacting, or you're being put in a situation where you're wrong about something that you obviously feel strongly about. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a discussion. So I don't know. To me, these are interesting because they are
Yeah.
so common. Here's
Hmm.
another good one that you definitely don't want to say: stop nagging me so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, every
Does that ring a
guy,
bell?
every guy has heard that, and every guy's probably fallen into the trap of saying that, and it doesn't do any good. What you've got to do is hear what your partner's saying and say, okay, if I don't want to listen to that. What do I have to do? And usually it's something small. I'll give you an example. So we moved and we broke out my mother's china. Mother's silverware. So we're using that now. I mix up the silver with some of the other stuff. I don't even know what material it is. And I keep doing that and I keep getting chastised about it. And I'm like, who cares? And I realize that you should separate them. Or the knives go in certain slots in this knife holder thing. And sometimes I put it in these things that's nagging. Like if that's, I'm not gambling, I'm not addicted to drugs, I'm not cheating, I'm not, those to me, focus on the big stuff. These are little things. And that becomes when guys hear that stuff, it drives them crazy. So I think it's a two-way street here. I think women have to pick their
Yes,
battles and like, we're not perfect. You know what?
right.
And if the big stuff it matters, this stuff it matters, but not so much. Let's not get into World War IV over like something like silverware.
Yeah, I was just going to say this one is women, we can stop criticizing, critiquing, nagging. I know I fall into that, and I just have to. I've really gotten good at stopping myself about stuff that just doesn't matter. It just causes unnecessary stress and arguments. Pick your battles, like you said, and man, just don't point it out that it's nagging. Like,
Yeah, if you're
I
getting
know
it right.
I heard it before.
Right. Most of the stuff is small stuff, so it's easier if you're a guy. It's easier just to okay. It's like stuff you don't care about. Just do it if it's important to her, and then you won't get quote unquote nagged about it. But don't say stop nagging me. It's a lose lose situation. So it's better to listen up and say, okay, what is this? This is something that's not doesn't matter to me at all. But I think I don't want to hear about this, so I might as well just do it.
Yeah, and
Resign
convert.
yourself to
Yeah,
just do it.
exactly. Okay, just resign yourself to on both sides. Like we
Right.
said, this is such a silly thing that causes so many arguments. Just stop
Yeah.
it. Here's I don't know how many men actually say this. You should put more effort into your appearance.
That's a death sentence if you're a guy. If you say that to your partner, that's not a good idea. Even if it's true, when you live together and all, people can get casual. For me, sometimes I don't want to see the sweats and the longshoreman hat all the time. Like, come on. But I don't say anything, and I don't think guys should. You just like, you know what? When it's time to dress up, clean up, you can clean up nice, you clean up nice. So just be comfortable and do your thing and let the other person be comfortable and it'll all work out. But don't say put more time into your appearance unless it's a really big issue.
This one goes deep. It really does go deep. I wondered why it was on here. I guess it's said enough, and maybe I'll throw it out to the audience. Have you said that, or have you heard that? And they say here, you should never say that unless it's something that can be fixed quickly. Never comment on appearance unless it's like we said, you have a smudge or this or something that can be addressed immediately as you say it, because
Yeah.
it's just going to go down the rabbit hole. So yeah,
And people have their own personal styles too, and it could be nowadays everything's so casual anyhow. So like I'm into the athleisure wear now. It's so much more
mm-hmm.
comfortable, and my wife's do jeans and a sweatshirt or something.
Yeah,
Whatever works.
yeah.
What's comfortable for you. Now, if you're going to go out and you want to dress up and you want to look clean up, nice, and they don't do that, that would be an issue though, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it happens on both sides.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I would think women say that more
Yeah.
than the man would. I think men actually kind of know better than to say that.
Yeah, that's
I'm
that's
giving you a
asking
lot
for
of credit, men out there, but yeah,
it.
it's thought we bring
Yeah.
that up. Here's a very hurtful one. I think is I don't have time for this right now. If I bring something up or ask something and it's put that way, it's hurtful that I'm not like in no way, shape, or form could I even be the priority at that moment.
Agree 1,000%. And maybe you're involved with something that you have to, and you have that. You're a person like myself. When you're locked in, you're locked in. At least you could say, "Could we talk about this in 5 minutes? Just let me finish this point. Is that okay?" And if it's not, then put the pencil that we put your, put your phone down, whatever, and listen. I'm all ears. I'm here for you. Because if you tell somebody you don't have time for them, like, whoa, why would they bother having time for you?
No, I agree, and I have heard that sometimes Paul does, and he doesn't mean it that way, which most men don't. This is why we're pointing it out. Just don't say this, because it really does. It lowers your self esteem.
Oh yeah,
You just don't feel important, and it
right.
just this festers on. It's a those are bad words. Those are bad words to use. Enough said about that. Here's another one that comes up a lot too. Why are you still holding this against me?
I think that's a really important one because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I've been on the receiving end of that, and it's uncomfortable. And listen, if you fessed up and you made a mistake and you said I'm sorry, and you're working on not having it happen again, and then something gets pulled out from a couple of years ago and thrown in your face, that's not a cool position to be in. That's upsetting because the understanding was that okay. we both agreed to agree on the disagreement, and now we've moved on and we left that. It's not bringing the baggage up, because you can have a whole basket full of these tomatoes that you can throw at your partner for everything they did that was
Yeah.
wrong, and you have to determine, are you going to keep doing that? It's not going to help, because that tells the guy at least that she's always going to throw this in your face.
I would go a little bit deeper than that, Robert, and that is, why is she throwing it still in your face? It's because she's not over whatever it is. There's something
Right.
festering there that if
Of
you
course.
care about this relationship and you don't want it thrown in your face again, it may need to be addressed on some
Mm-hmm.
level. Is it still something you're doing that keeps triggering her? I don't know. That one is a
Yeah. Yeah.
telling phrase.
So if it's, I think maybe we can agree that if it's something that you're doing again,
Mm-hmm,
then it gets brought up. That's
mm-hmm,
different than you're talking about something else, and there's another issue that has tangential relationship to it, and that comes out of left field as
mm-hmm.
part of an argument. You're just bringing up all the stuff and like throwing the mud balls at each other. That's not cool. I don't think
Right.
you have to.
No.
If you've agreed to like kiss and make up, then be done with it. And
Mm-hmm.
unless the person's doing the same thing again.
My advice to women here would be, and I'm speaking to myself, is as you said, if you've agreed that to put this away, or you've forgiven whatever it is, yeah, it needs to
Do it.
stay away. And so when it comes up and you want to say something, just don't. Just stop yourself, and I'm talking to myself, talking to myself here, but that
Well,
is a festering statement.
right. Well, and if it is, then find a way of like setting up a time to discuss it. That, and you know what, we had this thing. I thought we put it away, but I haven't. It's still bothering me. Can we talk about that? Then you hopefully the partner will wisely say, "Of course, I want to hear it all again.
Yeah,
Tell
there
me
you go.
all the
Of
terrible things I
course.
do. Come on, I
Come
want to
on.
hear it again."
Oh, that's funny.
I had this image of like the female partner in the wrestling ring climbing up on the turnbuckle, ready to do the dive, and right.
Yeah, let's drudge it all up again. No, that's
Yeah.
that's I know. Here's another couple fun ones. You're too sensitive or too dramatic.
I mean, this is how, if somebody feels a certain way, they feel a certain way. So you have to hear them out, and then you want to have a discussion about it. And sometimes, it's a head discussion where you can use logic, but that doesn't work all the time. And you have to come from the heart and say, have I hurt this person? Have I done something? I know from myself, my tone or whatever comes across, or sarcasm or whatever becomes an issue. So you just have to be mindful and sensitive. You need to be the one that's sensitive to the other person's feelings, because you might be hurting their feeling, instead of saying, "Oh, you're too sensitive."
And you're just putting there's no credence to what the woman is feeling or what she is
Right.
expressing. She might have
Right.
been very vulnerable to say this. This doesn't have to be a bitchy thing. Maybe it was something
Right.
sad, or yeah, you feel more strongly about something than perhaps the guy does. Being told you're
Mm-hmm.
too sensitive or too dramatic because you're bringing feelings to the situation,
Mm-hmm.
is hurtful. It's really hurtful. Maybe it's not warranted. I get it. There are women that are dramatic or overly sensitive. Finally, here, you're acting crazy.
That's not a good thing. I mean, it's a choice. All of these are like the choice of words, because it's very accusatory, and it's
Mm-hmm.
putting the other person on the defensive. You're acting crazy. I mean, if somebody says to me, "You're acting crazy," like maybe what I'm saying makes a lot of sense, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm getting emotional about it. So that they use that against me, like, "You're acting crazy." So that dilutes what I'm saying, even if it's correct. So you have to be careful that, when the choice of words is very important. Don't say those things. Just listen a little bit longer and try to process, okay, what is she really upset about? What is she really saying? What can I do differently? How do I take the fire out of this discussion?
And the word crazy in and of itself, and again, women say this
It's
to
like
men, I
insane.
get it, but that leads to gaslighting. It really,
Yeah.
really
Yes.
does.
I was
You're
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, you're attacking the mental stability of
Mhm.
someone.
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
it's a really insulting and just dehumanizing thing to say.
Hmm.
You're just crazy, especially if you're delivering it in a very snippy, harsh tone. Not
Hmm.
not not a not not a good thing. Lots to think about here as usual. Hopefully, something maybe clicked. I'd love for everyone to weigh in. What bothers you? What, as a woman, what's hurtful? What doesn't work for you when that's said to you? And men, do you catch yourself saying this, and vice versa? What do women say? What do we say that perhaps needs to be pointed out to me? But I'll let you close this here, Robert.
Well, I think you said it all, Silka, that we just have to be mindful of the other person's feelings and we have to catch ourselves before we react to a
Mm-hmm.
reaction so we don't create a fire and
Mm-hmm.
we behave in a more loving way. If we want to be with that person, you have to look for solutions. We have to find ways to tone it down and remember that you're with this person for a reason. So find, ask love, what would love do?
Oh, it's always nice. You always say that. Yeah, and why this all, these are all silly things, really. We hear them all the time, and it's just so important that we understand how hurtful and how harmful this can be. So enough about that. I think we've done our service here today. Robert, as usual, I'll link to all of your information, to your
Thank you.
book, to your radio show, to UK Health Radio. And I look forward to our next conversation on Second Act TV.
Thank you, Silka. Thanks, everybody.